In this video, you'll learn how to display a simple entry form using a control provided by AgCore and then handle the user's input returned by the form. So let's get started. I'll start with a new Silverlight project. You can see here that I have the XAML markup of a blank page. I also have added a reference to the devexpress.agcore as well as added the namespace entry in XAML. First, I'll add a stack panel. I'm doing this because I'll be adding two controls to the application and I want to make the positioning fairly easy for the demo. Inside the stack panel, I create a new text box. Using its name attribute, I'll specify a name so that the control can be accessed from code. Then I'll specify a width and finally a margin value. This text box will be used to display the data entered by the user in the entry window, which we'll demonstrate in this demo. Next, I create a button to invoke the window at runtime. I'll specify an appropriate caption for it and set its height and width values accordingly. Then, I'll create a handler for the control's click event. Now let's create the dialog box that will be displayed. I create a new AG dialog element and specify a name for the control. I'll manually set the title and width. I set the horizontal content alignment property to stretch, so that the content of the dialog window is automatically stretched to fill the width of the content area. Now I need a way for the user to enter their name. For this, I'll use a standard text box. To give the text box control the look and feel similar to the controls from DevExpress, I'll use a new helper class called the AG Style Manager. I set the isStyled property to true. Next, let's specify a name for the text box and set a margin around it. By default, the dialog box is displayed with an OK and a Cancel button, so for this demo, we won't worry about those. And I'm done with that markup, so let's save this and switch over to code. Before writing any code, I'm going to build the solution so I can make calls to the controls I just added using XAML. Inside the button's click event handler, I'll set the default text to be displayed in the text box of the dialog window. Then I'll call the AG dialog controls showDialog method to invoke and display the window as a modal dialog. I'll use the lambda operator to process the output value returned by the dialog when the user clicks on OK. To keep things simple, I'll just have the main text box display the value entered by the user in the dialog window. And I'm done. Let's run the application to see the result. You can see the text box and button. I click the button and the modal dialog box is displayed. In the text box, I enter DevExpress. Upon clicking OK, the value is returned and displayed in the main text box located above the button. Thanks for watching, and thank you for choosing DevExpress.